In this video, I'm going to give you my updated review of Airalo. Hey everyone, so back in 2020, I reviewed Airalo eSIM. And Airalo is a eSIM provider that allows you to purchase data packages for whichever country you're about to visit. Now, since back in 2020, there wasn't that much traveling, so this time I want to review Airalo again and see what has changed, and also get a perspective from someone who did use it and travel with it. So here's the review. So Airalo is a eSIM provider that offers travelers a convenient way to access mobile data while abroad. And one of the things I do like about Airalo is that they have a variety of destinations that they offer for their eSIM. A lot of countries that you can choose from, and this is perfect for people that frequently travel abroad. What you do need is an unlocked phone that supports eSIM and also their smartphone app. They are available in iOS and Android, and they do work on some Android phone as well. So definitely check out their website for more information. For my testing, I am using a unlocked iPhone 12 mini, and I'm using Airalo on the iOS app. And as you can see, the layout is pretty neat. It really shows you all the countries that are available for you to purchase your eSIM. And then when you tap on a certain destination, you get to see all the information, the available data packages, what are the duration, how long you could use it for, and also the pricing. It also gives you additional information such as the network that you'll be connected to and the activation policy as well. In my testing, I'm using the United States package, and I'm going to be using the 1 GB 7-day duration period. Looking at the additional information, it looks like the network I'll be connected to is either T-Mobile or Verizon. Since the last time I used Airalo, it was only T-Mobile, and then a few months ago I actually checked and it was T-Mobile or AT&T, but it looks like they changed it again. So it's T-Mobile or Verizon. Once you purchase your eSIM, it's going to place it into your eSIM section. And this is where you can start the installation process. And what I like about it is that there are different ways you can install the eSIM. So if you're on the iPhone, you could automatically just click on the install button. It'll automatically put it in your iPhone. There's also the manual way or the QR code way. For my testing, I went through the direct way, which will automatically install the eSIM to my phone directly. And when I activate the eSIM, it's going to prompt you to select, your voice line and then your data line. But since Airalo is only an eSIM only data plan, I still got to select my default line. So for voice, just make sure to select your primary voice line. And then also things that I will use for my iMessage, which will be my default line. But for my cellular data, I'm going to select cellular data, which will be using the Airalo eSIM. Once you set it up, your eSIM is ready to use. And if you take a look at the cellular settings under the Airalo, and you can see that it's active. I'm using T-Mobile network, and I also turn on data roaming just in case, so it'll work. And I also want to see if I'm able to select a different network. In my case, I want to see if I could choose Verizon instead of T-Mobile. So I select the Verizon, I turn off the automatic function, select the Verizon, and it looks like it does connect to the Verizon network as well. So I'm able to choose between T-Mobile or Verizon. So here are a couple of my speed test results, and right now I'm connected to the Verizon network, but you'll notice that the ping times are a little bit higher. That's because it has to go back to wherever Airalo is located. So the ping times are higher, and you'll notice that when you're browsing, the web, there are a couple slight delay when loading up some pages, but here are the speed test results. Now I'm switching over to the T-Mobile network, and same thing, ping time's going to be a little bit higher, and here are the results, and this is just around the Southern California area, and overall pretty decent speeds compared to what I had before in 2020 when I first tested it out. So definitely a big improvement. But one of the things I want to do is to ask someone what was it like to use Airalo while traveling abroad. So I asked my sister, who has a YouTube channel called Somewhat Lost, and she recently went to Colombia for her trip. And here's my interview. So my first question for you is, were you able to activate and use the data from Airalo while you were in Colombia?
Yeah. I was able to activate it before my trip, actually. And I was able to use the data just the way that it was while in Colombia. It wasn't as fast as I hoped it to be. So most of the time, if you have Wi-Fi connected, it'll be best. For that plan specifically, that's available in Colombia. It's very, very limited. And so you have to keep that in mind depending on where you go. Some countries don't have fast internet as some other countries do. But for the most part, it did work. Setting it up, though, was a bit of a challenge because you're supposed to set it all up before you go to the country and whatnot.
Right.
So I think that part was the most challenging part for me, mostly because I don't really use eSIMs. I mostly just use the pocket Wi-Fi.
When you were in Colombia, at times you were able to use the eSIM. Did at times did you lose like connection?
You mean like did it drop or anything like that?
Yeah, did it drop?
No.
Besides being slow, no, didn't drop.
No, yeah, surprisingly, no. It was very rare that it did. If it did, it was probably like more the mountain part of the country.
Got it.
So a bit more rural parts. But if you're in the city itself, then no, that never happened. Yeah.
Were there things that you weren't able to do? Like you were able to send messages to WhatsApp? What were some of the things that you weren't able to do on your phone?
Yeah. So because I wasn't able to set it up properly before my trip, that was at my fault. The tutorials that they did have provided was a bit confusing in my end. So because of that, I wasn't able to use WhatsApp or make phone calls if I wasn't on Wi-Fi. But as soon as I get on the Wi-Fi, I was able to do everything that I needed to do, except phone calls for some reason. But again, it's just because I didn't set up correctly initially before I left the country. So
for someone who's not tech savvy,
like me, yeah,
like you, you think they'll encounter difficulty activating the eSIM? Maybe one of the things is that they travel to that certain country and not aware that they had to like preload it or any of that before they get there, or they have to do it there. Do you think it's just too much step, or what would you think as a newcomer would their experience would be? Because you're someone who's not tech savvy, so
right, yeah. I think that is predominantly why I ended up buying the pocket Wi-Fi, because the setup was much easier. With the eSIMs, they all differ from different companies, but it's all generally the same thing. But I feel like someone like me who's not tech savvy or not as tech savvy, especially when it comes to the mobile stuff, I still prefer to stick with like pocket Wi-Fi's personally. Yeah.
Okay. And to my viewers out there, what would you recommend if this is their first time using an eSIM or even Airalo? What would you recommend they should do first?
Yeah, so definitely make sure you set it up properly before you leave the country. I know that they have plenty of tutorials online that teaches you how to set it up and whatnot. But if you still can't seem to figure out, ask someone who's super tech savvy, like whoever it is, a friend, husband, family members, or whatever. Because, for example, the Airalo one, that one I had like problems setting it up initially. Because the tutorials was pretty confusing. So yeah.
So speaking of their support articles, it does have a lot of information, and just like how my sister mentioned it could be a bit overwhelming for new users or someone that's not too tech savvy with setting up eSIM. But they do have very detailed information, and it's definitely recommended that you do check them out if you're new to using Airalo, eSIM, and how to set it up before you travel to your destination. One of the things that you need to be aware of is that you won't be able to get voice calls or SMS from your main number, but you can still use VoIP apps such as WhatsApp, Google Voice, or even Facebook Messenger. And also, they do have a way for you to contact them, but you can only contact them through filling out that form or through social media. They don't have a direct phone number that you can contact if you run into issues with your eSIM. Here's some other information about Airalo. You can use personal hotspot, so the tethering feature does work as long as your device supports it and also the network you're connected to is supporting tethering. There's also this thing called Air Money. It's kind of like a rewards credit system where basically every time when you purchase an eSIM, they're gonna give you a little bit reward amount that you can use to future purchases. Overall, I do think Airalo is a good option for those that like to travel overseas and they're looking for affordable eSIM data packages. And although there are some learning curves to learning how to set this up, I think once you're able to look at all the support documentation and get the help that you need, you'll be able to use the Airalo eSIM. But I want to know, what are your thoughts on Airalo? Have you used them before? Leave your comments below. And if you do want to try out Airalo, I'll leave my affiliate link in the description. Just a little disclaimer, I do get a little commission if you do purchase a package using my affiliate link. I'll also leave my referral code where you can earn $3 to your own Air Money bucket. If you're looking for a way to save money on your cell phone plans, check out some of my MVNO reviews right here.